Solon 3 marks and 6 kicks. Ned Fimino's had 10 kicks and 4 hand passes. Paul Wilson and Jakovic have been battling for opportunities up forward. Wilson's only had 4 kicks, so too has Jakovic. Peter Matera off the field injured since the 19-minute mark of the second quarter has had 9 kicks. And Lynch has had 8 kicks for Claremont. Allen's had 14. Scott Edwards on a wing has had 9. Higgins, ruckman 3 marks and 10 kicks and 8 effective ruck knockouts. Got Roland playing a midfield role in the centre in that quarter, had 11 kicks. Kevin Mitchell's had 3 marks and 3 kicks and 6 effective hand passes. He went out of the game in that quarter. He only had 1 hand pass. Peter Thorne's had 8 kicks only after having 3 kicks up to half-time. Evans is fairly quiet with 8 kicks. Mann, 4 marks, 11 kicks. Dale Kickett's had 10 kicks and 5 effective hand passes. And in defence, Beresford's had 7 kicks. And Peter Molesso, the best of the Claremont defensive unit with 5 marks, 11 kicks and 3 hand passes. The free kicks at three-quarter time, Claremont 21, South Fremantle 19.
Our statistician today, Ken Casillas, as always, and with me in commentary, Wally Foreman, and our expert, Brian Cousins. Ryan, you've been saying for most of the day it's being set up for a close finish. Just how close do you think this game's going to eventuate?
Well, I believe it's going to go right down to the last, 5 minutes of the game before a winner's going to be decided. I'm sure both coaches will be very anxious for their sides to do well in this last quarter, particularly as these sides are obviously going to meet in the finals and, and obviously potentially in the grand final. So they're going to be very insistent on their players not giving an inch. And, after the first quarter and second quarter being won firstly by South kicking 6 goals and then Claremont replying in that second quarter, the game is evened out, and I think it's going to continue for the last quarter.
Those comments from Brian Cousins. Robert Solon took a great mark in the third quarter. We're going to show you that now. He's been a solid defender for South Fremantle all day today. A big pack developed there. Higgins is there, so is Owens, but from the side, Robert Solon, with his eyes only for the football, and it pulls down a beauty at centre-half back for South Fremantle. Who've been some of your best players to this point of the game?
Yes, it's been a great game of football, as we've mentioned. For South Fremantle, I've been most impressed with Willie Rioli once again. He's had a lot of possessions, but I don't think he's been quite as effective. Whilst some of his kicks in that quarter went to players, he went very much across the ground. Arthur Mascos has worked hard, as he always does. Greg Turner, normally a wingman, been very lively on the half-forward line. Morris Rioli still playing good, consistent football. Craig Edwards playing almost a different sort of role. I don't think he's been as dominant as a ruckman, but he's picked up a lot of just kicks out of passages of play rather from his marks. Robert Solon has done well. Brad Collard, an extremely good player for South Fremantle. For the Claremont side, I think their best player is, I agree with Ken Casellas, who he mentioned, Peter Molesso has been outstanding in defence. Scott Rowland's worked hard. I think Dale Kickett's been probably the player who inspired them to get back into the game from the second quarter on. Higgins has been a tremendous aggressive ruckman around the ground. Peter Mann has been another good player for Claremont.
As best players from Brian Cousins, South Fremantle group breaking up. Claremont will do shortly. It's been a tough physical encounter here at Claremont Oval. And to give you an idea of just how strong it's been out in the middle, let's have a look at this passage of play. Side of the square, Edwards, just over his head, at the back for Claremont Scott. Safe as a church. Molesso barges through Worsfold. Shugs a tackle of Velasquez, but a good tackle by Velasquez brought him down by Mascos. Back with Derek Collard. Spun into Lewis. Picked up by Mascos. Now it's Worsfold, tackled by Edwards. Over the shoulder, the free kick's going to South Fremantle. Tempers are getting very... Yeah, that's where that fight developed. And Morris Rioli on report when he shaped up to Peter Thorne. We might like to go back and have a look at that scuffle that eventuated in the right full forward pocket. And it became fairly ugly there for a while, Well.
Yes, I think something must have happened that certainly I didn't see, and I'm not sure that the camera did, because Morris Rioli got very upset, and you'll see after this, there it goes, bang, bang, and he's on report for that. And that will be a very interesting tribunal hearing, because that could have profound impact on South Fremantle's football at the important end of the season.
Pumped him up too, didn't it? There's other grounds. As you can see, Swans are bolting away from Subi. West Perth with a big lead over East Fremantle, and a very close game being played between the two bottom sides, East Perth and Perth.
And if my memory serves me correct, Trevor, West Perth and Swan Districts play each other next week at Leederville, which will be very interesting.
Certainly built up to an outstanding match, hasn't it now? If West Perth can carry on their good work against East Fremantle. This one also is shaping up to be a very close finish. Perfect weather conditions, breeze wafting across the ground, not really favouring either side in this last quarter. Flag right across the ground, across the top of the scoreboard now, which shows the Bulldogs by 15 points. Nolder's on the ball for South Fremantle, opposed by Mann. Up they go. Nolder wins the tap. Chance for Evans. He's dispossessed. Rowland with strength. Out wide for Sutherland. Shrugs the tackle. That hand pass was meant for Evans. Comes to Brad Collard, who feeds Turner. He chips it into the half-forward line for Collard. Derek Collard. Collard's kicked the full forward. Bounces awkwardly away from Mascos. Molesso should have done better. Begovic has to mop up. It rebounds off Evans. Back to Owens. Tackled by Mascos, and Beers can't pull that in. A boundary throw in 50 metres out from the South Fremantle goal. Claremont under a bit of pressure in the opening moments of this last term. Mann worked his way to the front. Clean possession by Edwards to Morris Rioli. From a standing start across the face, though, it bounces away from both Beresford and Lynch. Worsfold tried to run through Beresford, wasn't successful, and a boundary throw in 40 metres around now from the South Fremantle goal.
Yeah, that was excellent play by Beresford because he was under pressure and he never took his eyes off the ball and got it safely over the boundary line.
Youth and experience. Experience wins out to Jakovic. Jakovic's snap is a gem from the right full forward pocket. And this will really take the game up to the league leaders now.
Yes, that now puts the margin, I think, out to 21 points, I think, Trevor, in favour of South Fremantle. An excellent goal here to Jakovic after Edwards took the ball out of the ruck. And Jakovic hasn't enjoyed the best game that he's played for the season today, but a very enthusiastic player, a very intelligent player, and he'll keep persisting right through to the end of the game.
If my memory serves me correctly, Claremont led by 15 points at three-quarter time in the previous game between these two teams, and South's got up and won. South's led by 15 points at three-quarter time today. They now lead by 21 points, so it's going to take a powerful recovery by Claremont to take the points here. Both teams disadvantaged with key players off the ground. Claremont have Han and Neesham off, as they have had for most of the day. And Souths have Matera off, and he was dominant early in the game. As the ball goes towards South's half-forward line, Claremont making a lot of mistakes in these opening minutes. Eventually, they run the ball away from the half-back line. The kick from Edwards bounces towards the line on the members' side of the ground, and that's where the throw-in will take place.
I'm somewhat surprised that Claremont haven't started with Higgins in the ruck, Wally, in this final quarter, because I believe he's done an excellent job up until now.
Mann coming over the top. Brad Collard close to the boundary line, and he and Evans take it out. It's 12-9 to 9-6. Souths lead Claremont by 21 points. 3 minutes gone in the first quarter here at Claremont Oval. Mann and Nolder. Nolder gets it down to Willie Rioli. High kick towards the half-forward line. Jakovic has the ball knocked away by Beers. Beers comes back strongly. He's claimed by Derek Collard. And this bounce down will take place on South's left half-forward flank. When their huddle broke up at three-quarter time, there was a very enthusiastic roar from players and supporters alike. There's plenty of spirit in this South Fremantle side, and they're going to take some stopping. Begovic has it, is caught, but gets it to Evans. A hurried kick, it'll land near Nolder, who got a good bounce. He's playing a kick behind the play. Edwards was rather tentative. Lynch has gone without it. Oh, Claremont having great trouble controlling the ball and taking too long. They've been favoured by an umpiring decision here. It goes against Peter Worsfold for pushing his opponent in the back, and the free kick was with Evans, I think, was it?
Brian Beresford.
Now Brad Collard gets the hand pass across to Turner. Back it goes to Brad Collard. He kicks over the half-forward line. Beers is in best place to mark, and Claremont arrest another South Fremantle attack. But Souths have had all the ball in the first 5 minutes of this final quarter. Evans has it now for Claremont. They're still the defensive side of the centre line. In fact, they're between lines, halfway between half-back and centre wing. That will land at half-forward. Kick it. Mitchell is in there also. His skill not enough to get it clear of the pack. Willie Rioli, his is. Della goes by hand to Morris Rioli. Rioli kicks over half forward. Collard a chance back there. Beers backed his judgment. Fortunately got his body behind the ball. Begovic has it. Took too long. The ball won't bounce out. It will now. In fact, they did pretty well out of that Begovic hand pass. They probably got a couple more metres than they would have expected to. 12-9 to 9-6. Souths lead Claremont.
Some players showing signs of tiredness too. There's the Claremont bench. Mark Ham with a shoulder injury and Jared Neesham off the ground.
And Peter Jamison in the middle.
Sutherland in trouble. Nolder at ground level. Turner scrambles it forward in the path of Lewis. Tackled by Derek Collard. Turner again. Spins away from Rowland. Rioli shovels it out. Begovic and Turner. Beers now to Lewis. Very quick hand pass. Allen at the back. Through the congestion. Did that well to Dale Tickett. Inboard it goes for Evans. He's in a lot of trouble now. Holding the ball, they cry. Play on, says umpire Vernon. Kickett emerges. Tackled by Rioli. Play on again, the call. Evans around the corner for Mann. Running into McDonald. Malesso, 50 metres out. He's lost it. Another chance for Claremont through Mitchell. Mitchell, a half-distance pass coming out to meet at Turnbull. Turnbull pulls it back from the boundary line. That's a great kick to the square, but the mark has been taken by Sambrano right in the last line of defence. Kicks to the outer side. Oh, mark or free kick to Edwards, one or the other.
Yes, the umpire pointed the wrong direction. No one knew who was going to get the kick, but Scott Edwards has it.
Lorne Cook, former champion Claremont player and state player. That's a very good mark to Higgins, 50 metres out.
Jakovic off the ground, Trevor.
Injured?
I don't know. He's on the bench. I didn't see him come off. In fact, I don't even know if he's... Oh, he did start the quarter, didn't he? He kicked a goal.
Willie Rioli's injured too. Doesn't look too happy with himself. I think he wants to come off. Higgins, long shot. This will bring Claremont back into the game. An inspirational goal from Peter Higgins. There's Willie Rioli. I think he wants to come off.
Yes, I'm not sure what the problem is with him, but if we go back, a tremendous long goal there by Peter Higgins. And I think he's been a very, very important part of Claremont's performance today, Peter Higgins. He's played with great enthusiasm, strength, and there is Higgins. I think he's very tired because we know he's had a lot of injury trouble this year, and they perhaps maybe risk him in that forward line, and I would expect him to come back on the ball for perhaps the last 10 minutes of the game.
15 points the margin, well.
Yes, it's still a long way to go here at Claremont Oval, and it's going to be a long last quarter for these players. It's been very warm today. They've been forced to do a lot of running. That was touched off the boot. The bounce of the ball favours Lynch. Good hand pass to Worsfold. He hooks it down in towards the pocket. Craig Edwards is outnumbered 2-1, but has the sip. Comes down to the front of the pack, and Derek Collard, the hand pass to Della, in towards the square. Claremont have the numbers there. They can't get to it. Wilson going back to make sure that the ball got over the line.
And it was good roving then by Derek Collard. When you've got a player of the capacity of Craig Edwards at full forward, you know he's either going to take the mark or it's going to come to the ground. Boundary
thrown at left full forward. Edwards, clean possession. His hand pass this time has gone astray. Thorne went without it. Souths are still in this, despite the fact that they were outnumbered about 4-1 in each contest. Kickett, he's gone without it. Mascos is tying it up in there. He's playing a lone role for Souths, but he did that well. Claremont eventually break it away. He puts the ball out in front of Malesso. Claremont are on the attack. Little support for Mascos back there. Perhaps players are getting very tired. Mitchell. Solon is with him. Good umpiring. He could easily have anticipated that Mitchell would take that mark. He didn't. He should have. Thrown it left half forward, and Mitchell should be kicking towards goal. So I think players are being affected by the fairly warm conditions that we've experienced today. They're having difficulty concentrating. We've played 9 minutes in the final quarter, 12-9 to 10-6. Souths lead by 15 points. Mitchell rode well that time. Couldn't get the ball clearly, or couldn't get the ball clear of the pack effectively. Souths with a chance now. Solon's kick goes towards centre wing. Chance for Kickett. He's caught. the South Fremantle player in there is going to be penalised for holding the ball. That's Wilson. Thorne called to play on. Puts the pass out in front of Evans. Was a good kick and a good lead provided by Tony Evans. He'll kick from about 65 metres out, but has found Higgins, who's giving them something back there at full forward.
Yes, a very, very strong lead when he was charging out from full forward, and I don't think Tony Evans would have dared kick it anywhere else other than to him.
Well, he's having something of a spell in the first half of this quarter, this final quarter, by playing at full forward. But he's also giving them some marking ability. He kicked their last goal from further out than this. He's kicked another, and that makes the difference just 9 points. So Claremont, with their tails up, Souths need to respond now. They have a 9-point lead that they have to defend.
Yes, and the goals that are being scored by both sides at the moment are just coming through sheer hard work. They're unable to get really any fluent passages of play, and that's brought about by the pressure that's been exerted by players on both sides. And there's Higgins as we saw him come out. A very, very strong lead and an excellent kick for a goal.
6 players in this match have booted 2 goals. It's Mann opposed by Nalder. Mann back-fisted towards half-forward. McDonald through the congestion. That was well done. Still he goes around Dale, kick it. The kick towards full forward. Edwards is out. No mark. Claremont almost messed it up. In fact, they did. Wilson's kick smothered by Lewis. Lewis paddles it for Owens. De Beers at close quarters. Comes back to Owens. Smothered by Rioli. Lynch in trouble. Beers over the top for Mitchell. Claremont run it out of defence. Great hand pass to Thorne.
And excellent umpiring too in that passage.
Rowland shovels it on for Allen. He's confronted by Collard. He did well then, Ben Allen. Now Dale Kickett, danger man. Out in front of Allen. Oh, great desperation by South Fremantle down there through McDonald, and they relieved the pressure. Rowland and Turner. Begovic. Good shepherding by Rowland. Now Mitchell. Mascos, a good tackle. Turner. Hospital hand pass to Rioli, but he's good enough to get out of it. Around Mann. There's the kick to centre half forward. Beers. Oh, courageous mark. One of the most courageous marks of the match. He was confronted by Della. He knew he was coming. He had to go. He was committed and he did it well.
And a tremendous passage of play that last 5 minutes of play.
Owens. Oh. Second bite at the cherry. Out wide for Rowland. With him is Mascos. Good mark. Scotty Rowland.
Now go long to Higgins. He should be. Higgins is on a lead again.
Where do I go, he says. He's just chipped it over the top now for Evans. They haven't gained much from that. He cuts inboard. Pulls it across his body. That's an intelligent bit of play. He's found Sutherland. Sutherland goes again into the pocket for Thorne. He'll be under pressure from Wilson. Clever mark. Very clever mark to Peter Thorne. This will put a cat amongst the pigeons if he beats this, Brian.
Yes, and we've mentioned to our country viewers as the day's gone on the number of times that players have kicked goals from this pocket. It seems to be easier than anywhere else on the ground.
Thorne's kick is... Oh, through. Oh, it's weaved its way through.
Yes, I thought he was going to make a liar of me, Peter Thorne, and great credit to Peter Thorne. It hasn't been one of his better games today, but the true quality of player that he is, his second half has been a much better performance than the first, and he's now becoming a very effective player.
Good mark too, wasn't it?
It was a great mark, and the way he's weaved that through, almost as if there was a magnet on it, one of those wobbly balls that you buy. 3 points the difference in favour of South Fremantle, and we've played 13 minutes. Ken, some of the leading kick getters.
Well, Evans has come to life in this quarter for Claremont. He's had 5 kicks already, and Peter Thorne's had 3 kicks in this quarter.
This is Mann, who is taken high and will get the free kick. But let me say, after having made some fairly critical comments about the umpiring in the first half, how much they've contributed to this contest in the second half. As Brian Cousins mentioned a few moments ago, they really have let the game flow in this final quarter in particular. They're letting the players play the game, and that's to their credit. It's enhancing this game now. Players from both sides very weary, and they've still got half of this quarter to play. There'll be at least 15 minutes of football left as Rioli kicks in towards the centre of the ground and Wilson takes a good mark. Rowland got there late.
He earned it.
Yes. Hasn't been a good day for Paul Wilson. Had to lower his colours at centre half forward, firstly to Malesso and then to Beers. That is a good mark. Pulled down by Nalder. Morris Rioli kicks in towards the pocket. Mascos should have taken that. Scott is with him. Hand pass infield to Turner. This is danger for Claremont. This is Derek Collard out on the full.
An excellent pressure then by the Claremont defence, and the player on screen there, Cam Lewis, I think was opposed by Peter Matera early in the game, found it difficult, but he's enjoyed the absence of Matera from the ground.
This is a good break out of defence by Claremont. Very good use of the ball. Now, Roland was indecisive last time he had it. Claremont got a goal out of his mark. But here he is again. He's exhausted. That's his problem. I saw him go down on his haunches after that last kick. He's used it well this time. So Claremont, with 3 very decisive kicks, have got the ball to centre-half forward. This is the 4th. Evans read that brilliantly. There's no one in the square. This will give them the lead if it bounces straight. It doesn't have to bounce. Claremont are in front, and Souths are on their haunches. 13-6 to 12-9.
Yes, the game set up for a tremendous finish and a great goal then to Claremont and the hard-working Tony Evans. We see Peter Thorne on screen. I mentioned before about Peter Thorne lifting his game in the second half, and so has Tony Evans. We've seen with South Fremantle this year in close games. They never ever let up South. We saw in the 2 derbies, I think, that they persisted, and they won the first one against, I think, no, they didn't. They got beaten, but they came from well back, and I'm sure will come back again now.
Yes, good character. Edwards tried a fresh air shot. Now Worsfold boots South Fremantle forward. Mascos missed it. Beers and Wilson. Owens confronted by Mascos. Got his kick in, but it lands with Rioli. Now he could just about boot it from there. The goal mouth is open. He's looking for someone to give it to, but there's no options.
I think they all wish they didn't have it at the moment.
Drop punt. Sets it up. Looking for Derek Collard. Scott went back. Tried to keep it in play. It's out of bounds. 15 metres around from the behind post. Jakovic limbering up. There he is, 27 for South.
Lynch coming off.
Jakovic could be the linchpin, do you think, Wal?
Well, he'll give them a bit back there.
Nolder tried to knock it forward. Derek Collard. Kicket got mixed up. It's been socket, but it hit the post. And that would have given South the lead back again. So now it's 2 points the difference in favour of the Tigers, who've come back in this last term. Mitchell will fly, and fly he did over the top. Still he goes, Mitchell. Looking for Kickett with that hand pass. Jakovic was held. Brad Collard confronted by Evans, by Beresford. Now it's Evans. The centre-half forward, but a strong mark in defence to McDonald. Back he goes to centre-half forward. Ill-directed kick. The mark has been paid. Evans has taken the mark.
He's come to life in the last quarter, Tony Evans. This is his 8th kick in the opening 17 minutes of the last quarter.
Turner and Rowland. No mark taken. Thorne, good pickup. Well tackled by Cliff Collard. Willie Rioli keeps it in. He's got time. Over the top. Della now. He runs to left half forward. Kicks towards Nolder. Oh, he's pulled in a good mark.
I think that might have been the half volley. But still, he's got the mark, and that's the main thing as far as he's concerned.
Nolder is 55 metres out. He can't score from there. It would take a prodigious kick. There's no breeze to speak of now, though. And there goes the Nolder kick. He sets it up in the square. Mann is there for Claremont. At the front, Begovic. Knocked on by Wilson. Knocked back by Mann. Into the path of Dale Kickett. Over the top. He puts it out in front. Morris Rioli, though, takes it away from Beresford. Back it comes towards Nolder. Kickett's there, dispossessed by Rioli. Now Della from 50 metres out. The snaps away to the left-hand side. And in fact, the mark taken by Owens in the last line of defence.
Well, Claremont will be hoping that Peter Owens finds some of his better form. They rely on his aerial ability in that full back line, the back pocket. Tony Begovic getting a little irritated as he kicks towards centre-half back. Owens has made hard. Oh, Scott Rowland, who's played very well for them in the midfield today. Owens has had not one of his better days. Rowland has now cramped. He'll be looking forward to kicking this. Goes with a hand pass instead. Beers, who's come back in style this afternoon for Claremont. They get the ball to the half-forward line. McDonald, a very good mark. I think it was about to be paid, and then they call play on. Mascos has it. Souths are not going to lie down. They trail by 2 points. It's 13-6 to 12-10. Claremont lead. That's a brilliant kick from Mascos towards full forward. Jakovic was the flyer. Owens and Begovic in there for Claremont. Begovic with the run of the ball. Wilson coming across to meet him. It's Begovic who takes him on and runs away from him. Gets the hand pass ahead of the play. Beresford went without it. South can rebound. Rioli has it. Willie Rioli into centre half forward where South have the numbers. Owens crashes through the pack. That was well done. Owens backed his judgment. He may have set up something here that could decide the fate of this game. Roland again puts it out in front of Allen. Allen can go towards full forward. There's no one there for him. Look at the kick from Ben Allen. And well played, Peter Owens in the full back line. That was a brilliant passage of play, and it started with Peter Owens having the courage of his conviction to charge down that South Fremantle pass.
Yes, it was a great pass that came across from Willie Rioli, and Peter Owens must have run 20 metres to get there. And we see now Scott Rowlands putting the ball out to Ben Allen. He had Higgins in support, and he decided to play on Ben Allen, and he's kicked that from just inside the 50-metre, and it lands almost on the fence at the back. Actually, it does strike the fence. It would have been an enormous kick, that by Ben Allen under pressure.
8 points the margin in favour of Claremont now. Edwards and Mann get mixed up in the middle. Going to ground there for South Fremantle Mascos, but still he battles at ground level. And now the kick's been awarded to Claremont's Kickett.
Claremont must kick it behind shortly. They kicked 9 goals straight.
Is that right?
Yes, they were 5 goals 6 at one stage. Now they're 14 goals 6, so 9 straight to Claremont.
And if Claremont do win this game, the man who's about to kick the ball has probably played as big a part in it as any player on the ground.
From the middle of the ground, Kickett to centre half forward. Back, clears the pack. At the back, Edwards and Evans. David and Goliath. Evans wins out with pace. Got a high tackle, play on. Now a chance for Cliff Collard, close to the boundary. Good kick, Turner. Turner from half back. Kicks to the members' wing. His target is Djakovic. Let him down on that occasion. Chance for Brad Collard. Collard and Djakovic get mixed up. That allows Mitchell in. Collard camped over the top. Beers shovels it out into the path of Cliff Collard, though. With good vision, he finds Morris Rioli. Morris Rioli, inboard it goes for Mascos. 10 metres the attacking side of the circle. And the mark's taken by Wilson. No play on.
Gee.
That's a bit tough.
Oh, is that?
That is very tough. Now it's with Thorne. Claremont got a break. Kickett. This could seal it. Kickett from 45 metres. Shot on goal. He's kicked it. 3 goals to Dale Kickett, taking the advantage of what should have been a mark for South Fremantle in the forward line.
And what an outstanding performance by this player, Dale Kickett. He's one of the most skilled, talented players, and we see the spoil there by John Scott.
Not the mark, the free kick.
Yes, I'd agree, but there has been some decisions that have gone both ways, so I don't think it is going to influence the game in the end. But this player here, Kickett, has been absolutely sensational today, not only with his ball skills, with his chasing and his tackling. He's a complete footballer. I rate him very, very highly.
Claremont have shown admirable spirit to come back and lead by 14 points. They trailed by 31 points at quarter time and 21 points 4 minutes into the final quarter. It's been a big turnaround.
Oh, you can't hand pass from a free kick, Scott Edwards.
In fact, it hasn't been a good day for Scott Edwards. Not one of his better days.
And he copped a very heavy blow, though, earlier in the game.
And that could well have affected his performance this afternoon. And with 2 players off the ground who obviously can't come back on, it's probably the reason he's still out there. It's knocked to the advantage of Dale Kickett, who gives a demonstration of his skills once again. But here's another fellow who's not under-endowed with skill. He took probably the mark of the day, although Robert Solon will challenge that. The ball goes towards the half-forward line. Allen went without it. Wilson. Willie Rioli, good backup from Cliff Collard. Through the centre he goes. He realises there's still time for South to win this. We haven't quite gone into time on. Peter Owens has undergone a transformation as a result of his dashing clearance and spoil about 4 minutes ago. That's the type of mark that Claremont will expect from him in games to come. Peter Mann, across the top it goes to Kickett. He went without it that time. Mann gets tied up with Kickett. He knocks it back to that player's advantage. He in turn got mixed up with Beresford, and now Souths can take it away from that little skirmish. It's Della who drives to the half-forward line. Claremont with best recovery. Scott goes over Wilson's head, puts it out in front of Begovic. Thorne provides the lead on centre wing. Roland is ahead of the play if he can get it to him. He went sort of almost across the surface with that pass rather than kicking it over the approaching player's head. But Rowland is able to tie it up, and there'll be a bounce down on Claremont's right centre wing. 24 minutes have elapsed in the final quarter. Souths are 12-10, trailing Claremont 15-6. Souths have kicked only 1 goal in this final quarter and have kicked only 6 for the game since quarter time.
And Scott Rowlands is a very, very tired footballer. He's worked very hard throughout the game.
14 kicks and 5 hand passes to Rowland.
Getting every muscle at the moment, isn't he? Turner. Mitchell, clever. Very clever. Feigned the hand pass around Troy Wilson. Now the kick to pull forward from the back. It was Higgins, now Malesso. 50 metres out. Still he goes, Peter Malesso. He's backed himself, but finally he was pulled down from behind by McDonald and the kick astray and out of bounds about 35 to 40 metres around from the Tigers' goal.
An excellent play there by Peter Malesso. I still think South are a chance in this game, but he was the player that kept Claremont in the game. We see Swan Districts are going to beat Subiaco. We missed the other scores. Perth are well in front of East Perth. And East Fremantle are coming back at Westbury.
Swans have got Subi covered.
Out of bounds again in the left full forward pocket. Crowd starting to leave this ground, but they've certainly seen a good brand of football here this afternoon by the top of the table clash. Nolder and Turnbull, clean possession by Nolder. Derek Collard feeds Fimino. South work it out of defence towards the outer wing, but it's all Claremont out there. Man waited. That time he who hesitates wasn't lost. Edwards. And he finds Rowland. Stan Magro looks on in anguish. Rowland finds Beresford. Good mark. I think they've shown today by the top of the table, Claremont. They've really fought back under extreme pressure. They are a very professional football side. That's going to be hard to mark. Solon missed it with a fist. Nolder through the traffic. Troy Wilson out wide to nobody in particular. It lands with Higgins. His snapshot is away to the left and one behind only.
There's your point, Ken.
Yes, 10 goals straight to Claremont, and then that point broke the sequence.
97 plays 82, 2 minutes of time on.
And Peter Higgins has played a great role in Claremont's victory. I think I could say at the 27-minute mark now Claremont will emerge triumphant. He's had 14 kicks, he's made 8 effective ruck knockouts, and he's used his strength to great effect.
Sambrello brings the ball back into play. It's knocked on by Mann to the advantage of Thorne. He in turn knocks it back to Mann deep in that left full forward pocket, but that's a telling kick towards the top of the goal square. Solon got his hand to it, knocks it away from his shorter opponent Evans, and it goes through for another point. Yes, I think I agree with you, Ken. I think Claremont have done enough to win this game now, but gee, it's been a game worthy of the top 2 teams.
And it augurs well for a great final round of football.
Well, especially given that East Fremantle are playing as well as they are. And even the Swans last week, who took it right up to East Fremantle for 3 of the 4 quarters. Presuming that Swans make the 4. It's not certain.
We should know that next week.
I'll be at Port Hedland next week, Trevor, watching the state cricket team play at Port Hedland on Saturday and Newman on Sunday. Then I'm going to the Newman races on Monday.
Well, I feel sorry for you, actually, because I think we're set for a great finish to this season. The leaper up there was Turnbull. That's Evans, who kicks the goal and puts the seal on Claremont's victory.
Yes, Tony Evans there being congratulated by his teammates. A very, very hard-working rover, Tony Evans, that found it difficult to get into the game, and that was due to the enormous pressure that South Fremantle placed on the running players of Claremont, particularly in that first half. But to his credit, he's persisted with his game. He's worked very hard. And as you've mentioned, Ken, he's had a very, very big last quarter. That would be something like his 10th kick for the quarter.
Yeah, 9 kicks for the last quarter. 17 his tally.
Brad Collard got it to Dilla. Dilla to half forward. Rioli underneath the ball. Begovic at the back. Backing his judgment here is Wilson. Only he could have found the handle. Finally he did and gave it to Derek Collard. Over the top for Turner. He cuts inboard and hooks towards the square. Edwards is there with Scott. Edwards! No mark paid. Mascos goes back for Rioli. Rioli snap a goal from 25 metres. Is one behind only. Dejected South Fremantle bench. in particular Peter Matera, who suffered a pretty serious ankle injury which could keep him out for a while.
That and a tribunal hearing are going to have a big impact on South Fremantle's fortunes this year.
Scott goes down the middle with a torpedo. Magnificent kick. Mitchell misses the mark. There's the siren. Claremont have won the match. Claremont 16-8, 104 have defeated South Fremantle 12-11-83 by a margin of 21 points. Leading goal scorers for Claremont: 3 to Dale Kickett, a magnificent game of football, 2 to Ben Allen, Peter Higgins and Peter Mann, and for South Fremantle 2 to Greg Turner, Peter Matera and also to Craig Edwards. Ken, the leading half-dozen kick-getters on the ground today.
Yes, well, Tony Evans finished up with 17 after having only 5 in the first half. Peter Thorne, who had 3 kicks in the first half, pleased Jared Neesham down there. He finished up with 14 kicks, did Peter Thorne. Scott Rowland 8 marks, 15 kicks, 5 hand passes. Dale Kickett had 13 kicks and 18 effective hand passes, and there's Dale Kickett on the screen. Ben Allen had 15 kicks, Scott Edwards had 13, Peter Higgins 5 marks and 14 kicks, and Peter Molesso 6 marks and 14 kicks. For South Fremantle, Morris Rioli had 16, Brad Collard 14 and 7 hand passes, Turner had 12 with 7 hand passes. Then we had Willie Rioli 17 kicks and 9 effective hand passes. Further back then, not many other prominent kick-getters, with Peter Matera having 9 after being hurt halfway through the second quarter, and the free kicks ended up Claremont 26, South Fremantle 19. South didn't get a free kick in the final quarter.
Thanks a lot, Ken. Cam Lewis, one of the strong contributors for Claremont. Brian Cousins, your best players today.
Yes, a tremendous game of football here today, Trevor. Firstly for Claremont, Dale Kickett, I believe, was the best player on the ground, not only with the possessions he picked up, with the enormous courage that he showed in his chasing and his tackling and his persistence. Peter Higgins, I thought, was excellent, as was Peter Molesso. Scott Rowlands almost took the role of Jared Neesham when Neesham's hamstring played up early in the first quarter. Peter Mann was another good player at centre-half forward and in the ruck, and then Tony Evans for particularly his last quarter, but a player that persisted throughout the 4 quarters. For South Fremantle, I believe Brad Collard was close to their best player. He played on the wing as he normally did and kept his opponent quiet and got a lot of kicks himself. Arthur Mascos, another hard-working player. Willie Rioli. Craig Edwards, not as dominant as he has been in weeks gone by, but certainly an effective player. Turner on the half-forward flank, and Robert Solon once again was a very effective defender.
Now the Claremont flags waving proudly here at Claremont Oval after their great win over South Fremantle, and I suppose South Fremantle may be able to breathe just that little bit easier with East Fremantle looking as though they're going down to West Perth, which will keep South, of course, solid in second place. Don't forget our program of Football Sunday tomorrow. We'll have highlights of this game and also from the one there between West Perth and East Fremantle, which looks as though West Perth will win. We've certainly got our eye on you with ABC Football. And tomorrow, of course, our program Football Sunday at 9 o'clock. That's all from Claremont Oval this afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed our telecast here. We'll be back, of course, during the week with more sport for you on ABC Radio and television. On behalf of our commentary team, Brian Cousins, Wally Foreman and Ken Casellas, we bid you a very good afternoon from Claremont Oval.
Jabbar is going out, and there's the hand.